Hi, this is Ann with Finance on the Offense, and today I'm going to go over how to survive the next recession or financial crisis, which could be just around the corner. No one really knows, but I can almost guarantee it'll happen sometime in the next, 30 years. All right, let's get started. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the normal things that happen in a recession. And the first one is inflation. Inflation basically means that your money doesn't buy as much as it used to. And we're seeing this right now. The inflation rate at this time is 8.5%, and that's about 5% above normal. So what inflation means for you and me is we go to the store, we want to buy a gallon of milk, and a year ago it cost $2.25 and now it costs $3.25. You probably also recently seen this with the gas prices with Russia invading Ukraine. And the prices on generally everything we see are going up. Another thing that happens during a recession is the stock market falls and so do your investments. For example, in 2008, my dad lost half of his 401k at the time. Now, he didn't actually sell any stocks or anything like that, but the value of it went to half of what it was before. This would have been really devastating if he'd wanted to retire soon, which he didn't back then, and he just didn't do anything, and eventually his whole portfolio recovered. In recessions, the economy slows down, everybody starts saving money and kind of stops spending money, and so companies aren't able to sell products like they used to. Because they're making lower sales, they can't keep the same staff and they start laying people off. Now people are out of a job, and so unemployment rates go up. Now, one thing the government does to slow down inflation is to raise interest rates, and we saw an interest rate hike very recently. What this means for you is if you need to borrow money for any reason, your interest rate is going to be higher than it would just a few weeks ago. And if you have an adjustable rate mortgage, although I don't think many people do anymore after the 2008 financial crisis, but if you do, you will see your payment go up. As the recession wears on, another thing that happens is companies completely go out of business. And people can't pay their loans because they don't have the job that they had at that company maybe, and so they may lose their home. So these are all things that happen during recessions, and it's a pretty scary time for everybody. So what can you do now to prepare for a future recession? There are really 4 things that you can do to put yourself in a better position. And I realize not everyone can do these things. It really depends on your current circumstances. But if you can, your life during the recession will be much better. Make sure you have an emergency fund. In recessions, people find themselves without jobs. So if you have 3 to 6 months of living expenses saved in an account that you can easily access, this can be a lifesaver. You can definitely look for a job without feeling the same level of stress as if you didn't have that money cushion. Second is to get rid of as much high interest debt as you possibly can, and this would be for things like credit cards. Really getting rid of this type of debt will lead you to an overall peace of mind, recession or not. Third, if you're getting ready to retire in the next 5 years, it definitely makes sense to move your retirement money from these more aggressive funds to safer, more conservative investments. You don't want to have all your money in stocks and then the Dow Jones loses half of its value in however many days, and you need that money for retirement. Number 4 is try not to panic. When you see your investment portfolio getting lower and lower every single day, it can be a pretty traumatic experience. But my advice is, if it really bothers you, just don't look at your account. If you tend to freak out about your money situation, it can cause you to make emotional decisions, and those are usually bad things. Now, a recession doesn't have to be all doom and gloom. If you have extra cash sitting around, a recession is a fabulous time to invest. I actually started investing in the middle of 2009 when it just happened to be the bottom of the 2008 financial crisis. Everything was on sale, so stocks were really cheap. They had lost half of their value, so it was easy to buy them. But I was really nervous about doing that because, everything had fallen for about a year, getting lower and lower and lower. And I thought if I put money in there, it would continue to go down and I would lose money. But my dad reassured me and he helped me to set up an account and learn how to invest. And I'm really glad I did that now, obviously. Of course, I wish I'd put more in. So there is an upside to a recession if you're able to take advantage of it. All right, I hope this video was helpful. If you liked it and want to see more videos like this, just click on the little subscribe button and the bell next to it. You'll be notified every time a new video comes out. All right, I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.